Hello everyone, welcome to today's live webinar Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5, or we call it CM5, Demo and Comparison. I'm Solihin and I will be your host for the next hour or so. First off, let's see. Okay, I want to thank you so much for those who is currently joining us right now. Whether you are engineer, a maker, or you just a person with full of curiosity about this webinar, I promise you, you are in for a great webinar today. Okay, in this webinar, we'll be covering into what makes the CM5 such a game changer. We'll be showing you an overview, specification, accessory, doing some comparison, and of course, answering your question live. So if you have any question, feel free to drop them in the comments. Okay. So I'm not doing this alone. Who are joining me today is two brilliant speakers, which is Mr. Uber Chu, our Chief Product Officer of Cytron, and Salam, our Product Design Engineer. And trust me, these guys know their stuff. And they're going to show you just how powerful and practical the CM5 can be. Okay, I think that's enough intro. So let's get started. All right.
Hello. Thanks, Olihi, for the introduction. And very good afternoon, everyone, from Malaysia, from Cytron. So if there is overseas viewer, from India, hi. What? Uh, V Liver, Gary. Okay, hi. Thanks for following us. So let's start with the first question. When will CM5 be restocked? I believe next week we'll have another batch of CM5 arrive in Cytron Technologies. Okay, so grab it. It's very hot item now. I think we sold out. I cannot remember how many pieces, but within 2 days only, it's all gone. Okay, so let's start with the first overview. Blaine, can you help me to? Yeah. So this is Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5, for short, we call it CM5. So let's look at the outlook, the overview. So this is top view. As you can see, if you are familiar with CM4, which is Compute Module 4, the successor of Compute Module 5, it's quite similar, especially at the wireless part. So the wireless part is actually same spec as CM4, where you have the external antenna U.FL connector, and there is a small electronic switch to switch between the onboard antenna, which is the PCB antenna, or you want to use U.FL connector connect to external antenna. You can do it on board using software. Okay. So this enable you to get a better signal if everything is enclosed in a metal case, which is normally being deployed in the field. Okay. Then, so of course you have the wireless dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0, and also BLE, which is the same as CM4. Then moving to the bottom of the left, you have go up. Sorry. Moving to the bottom of the left, you have the PMIC. PMIC is power management IC lah. So this is similar with Pi 5. It's not CM4, but Pi 5, where it support 5 volt PD power delivery standard up to 5 amp, 5 volt at 5 amp. So this PMIC is the same as on Raspberry Pi 5. Okay. And at the middle, top of the middle, we have the RAM. So a bit special on CM5, where we have the variant of not only 2GB, 4GB, 8GB, but also 16GB. And it uses the faster RAM, which is LPDDR4 4267 speed of RAM. So this is faster than the RAM of CM4. If I'm not mistaken, the CM4 is 3200 RAM. Although they are still the same LPDDR4, but the speed is faster. Okay. Then of course the CPU Broadcom DCM2712, the same CPU on the Pi 5. Okay. And on the right of that CPU is the silicon, which is designed and produced by Raspberry Pi team themselves from zero. As they label it as RP1. So this is the high-speed controller hub. It actually handle all the SDIO, for example, then also the GPIO. Okay. So they also use this on the CM5. Then bottom of the RP1 is the gigabit Ethernet physical IC. Then on top of the RP1 and also beside the RAM IC, we have the label. This is similar to Pi 5. CM5 now come with a proper indicator of the RAM size and also the eMMC. For this example, this is a light version where there's no eMMC. You need a microSD card or SSD, NVMe SSD to put it up. So for this version, I think we have another picture of where there's an indicator for the onboard eMMC. Okay. So that is the RAM and eMMC size indicator. So next. So this is bottom of the CM5. So if you look at the bottom of the CM5 and CM4, I would say it's 90% similar, except for if you are using the version with eMMC built in, then you see an extra chip. Because if you go back to the top view, you still recall it's full already. There's no space for the eMMC IC, so they put it at the bottom. Okay, so of course the light version will not have that IC, has 16 GB, 32 GB, and 64 GB. So for the connector, we still have the same two 100 pin connector at each side. Okay, it is similar with CM4. So in terms of mechanical, you can replace CM4 with CM5 directly in terms of mechanical. In terms of electricity or electronic, the signal, you can still replace it, but you might miss some of the features or spec from the CM5. Okay, next. So the variant. So we have similar with CM4. We have the built-in wireless or non-wireless, no wireless at all. RAM size, it starts with 2 GB up to 16 GB. So if you are familiar with CM4, you notice that CM4 start with 1 GB and stop at the maximum RAM on CM4 is 8 GB. But this is the CM5 start with 2 GB and stop at 16 GB. So that's why I highlighted 16 GB. And for the eMMC size, of course, the light is still there. The light means there's no eMMC. You need an external storage to put up to put the OS and also to for the data storage. It starts with 16 GB of eMMC instead of 8 GB. So 1 GB RAM, CM5 will not have 1 GB RAM and will not have eMMC size of 8 GB. You start with 0 GB, then jump up to 16 GB, 32, and then 64 GB. Okay, so if you multiply all these variant together, you get 32 variant in total. In future, maybe, just maybe, they might produce 1 to 8 GB of eMMC. Okay. Okay, next. So let's look at the specification in details. So on the center or the left side, we have the Compute Module 5. On the right side, we have the CM4. The launching date, this is last week. I think, yeah, last week. And Broadcom, the CPU or the SoC system on I think it's CPU. Yeah. So one is Broadcom 27 BCM 2712, which is newer core, Cortex A76, still remains 64-bit. For CM4 is A72. So from there, you might not see the difference, but the CPU speed is 2.4G on CM5 compared to 1.5G on CM4. So that is 0.9 increment, 0.9 gigahertz increment from 1.5. That is more than 50%. That's why the performance alone for the processor with the clock speed only is more than 50%. Okay. Then if you go further down, the GPU is Video Core 7 compared to Video Core 6. Now, of course, the multimedia, we have CM5 support OpenGL ES 3.1 compared to CM4, I think is 1.1, 2.0, and 3.1 only. And CM5 by default always support Vulkan 1.2. Next, Solin. And we talk about RAM, like just now I highlight, the RAM is also faster, and we have a higher RAM size, which is 16 GB. And then onboard eMMC, being highlighted also, just now 64 GB compared to the maximum of 32 GB on CM4. Storage, yes, you can, the storage for the OS and also data, you can actually put it on the eMMC. NVMe, CM4 also can put from NVMe. CM5 is similar. Then for the light version, you can use a microSD card. Okay. For the light version, you can actually use NVMe SSD also, no problem. But NVMe SSD can be used if you have onboard eMMC also. But microSD card cannot be used if you have onboard eMMC. Okay, so that's why I highlight that the microSD cards, particularly for the light version only. Okay. So for PCIe bus, although CM4 also have PCIe bus, CM5 also have, but CM5 can enable Gen 3, PCIe Gen 3 speed, although it's not certified, but you will see significant increase of the speed, communication speed for the PCIe. So SDIO is the same, SDIO 2.0, and apply on the light version only. Gigabit Ethernet is the same. For USB, CM5 come with 2 extra USB 3.0 instead of one USB 2.0 on CM4. So for CM5, you get a one USB 2.0 plus 2 USB 3.0. Okay, and that USB 3.0 is standalone. It's not using the PCIe bus. Okay, the one lane of PCIe bus. Okay, so in other words, you can get the PCIe and another 2 USB 3.0 on CM5. HDMI is similar. Then for RTC, you still get the RTC on the CM5, but the IC itself is built in on the PMIC, same as the Pi 5. Okay, just required external battery to power up if the main power is not there. So it keep the real-time clock counting. Okay, while for CM4, you require an external RTC IC to count and also battery to continue counting. Okay. So for Wi-Fi, same. Bluetooth, same. Antenna is the same. Next, sorry. Operating system, as far as we tested for Pi 5, of course, both these can boot up from Raspberry Pi OS or any compatible OS. But for CM5, definitely you need the latest bookworm. Okay, it cannot boot up on Bullseye or even Buster. So for CM5, make sure you get the latest Raspberry Pi OS or latest compatible OS, for example Ubuntu. Okay, if you want to try the other OS. Dimension is the same as we see just now. Okay. Thermal performance for both, we recommend either active or at least a good passive cooler. As for CM5, definitely you will need at least passive cooler. Okay. For power input, similar. It's still powered by 5-volt single 5-volt DC source. But for CM5, there is a USB PD power delivery supporting up to 5 amp at 5-volt. So you can, in other words, you can use back the USB PD, USB-C PD power adapter for Pi 5 to power up the CM5. Now, of course, using the compatible I/O board. Okay. For DSI and CSI port, a bit different compared to CM4. CM4 you can have 4 MIPI, but 2 is dedicated for CSI, another 2 is dedicated for DSI. But for CM5 is similar to Pi 5. You can have 2 CSI or 2 DSI display, or 1 DSI, 1 CSI camera on display. Okay, the pin is still the same, 2 times 100 pin as we see just now. Operating system, yes, operating system is duplicated. Dimension is also duplicated. Okay, next. Duplicate again. This is the same. Okay. Yeah, same. So let's look at the accessory. The first is the carrier board. So this is CM5 IO board. For short, we'll call it IO board. If you look at the layout, and if you are familiar with CM4 IO board, and this is official from Raspberry Pi, if you are familiar with it, it's kind of similar. Your 2 HDMI, full-size HDMI is still there. Gigabit Ethernet is still there. Then beside the Gigabit Ethernet, for CM4 IOB, it's actually 2 times the USB 2.0 port. Now is 3.0. So you can actually connect a high-speed USB device. One example is if you have a very high resolution, let's say depth camera, or high resolution camera, imaging camera, you can connect to USB 3.0. Okay. Then the GPIO, 40-pin GPIO is still there, and this board is actually compatible with the PoE for Pi 5. Okay, if you externally you want to add the PoE head to the Pi 5 to the IO CM5 IO board, you can do that. Okay. Then we still have the battery connector or battery socket for the real-time clock RTC, but the RTC IC is embedded on the CM5 already. Okay. What else? So that is the left side. At the back, instead of having 4 connector for DSI and CSI, now we have 2 only. It's 22 pin also, or 22 way, same as Pi 5. So in other words, you can use back your Pi 5 FPC cable, the flexible PCB cable, connect to here. Okay. But so far, the CSI and DSI are not working yet for compute modify. Okay. You might need to wait a while. The Raspberry Pi team is working on the driver. Okay. Then the connector for the CM5 is at the same place as the CM4 IOB. Now the cooling fan connector on the CM4 IOB changed to very small, which is same as the Pi 5 cooling fan connector. So that's good. In other words, you can use back, and it's very compact. You can use back the fan if you want to use on the Pi 5. Okay. And what else? Okay. This is good. This is the M.2 M-key PCIe or M.2 socket. So you can directly connect to let's say NVMe SSD. Okay. The microSD card slot is still there. The USB-C on CM4 IOB is being changed to USB-C instead of USB micro B on CM4 IOB. So that USB-C can be used to power up the whole board and also the CM5, and also to load the image. Image mean the Raspberry Pi OS into the eMMC. Okay. So some tips here. CSI and DSI, as I highlight, is not working yet. We have tested, and also I think Tom's hardware has been tested also. The CM5 on the IOB, both these CSI and DSI is not working yet. And archiboot.exe, which is the software to recognize the eMMC on the CM5, is not yet ready for Windows user. Okay. Passive cooler. Later, I'll introduce a passive cooler. Cannot be used together with the metal case, the cooling fan. You can use with the metal case, but the cooling fan need to be removed. Okay, if you want to use the passive cooler on CM5. And we recommend using the PSU for Raspberry Pi 5 to power up. Okay, you save another PSU. Okay, next, sorry. Again, if you guys have any question, feel free to ask under the comment. So this is the metal case. I think it's very straightforward. We just have an opening with the fan installed already at the top of the metal case, and there's hole for ventilation. So this is the fan that I mentioned. It cannot be used with the passive cooler, the next slide that I will introduce, of the CM5. So if you want to use the passive cooler, you need to remove the fan under the ventilation hole there. Okay. So the other opening is just for the ports, or the USB, Ethernet, HDMI, microSD card. Then also there's a hole for the antenna, external antenna. Okay. Wow. So hello from Vietnam. Hello from Malaysia. Then at the back, where there is the dash line, we have two opening for the CSI and DSI cable, and one hole for the power button. So this power button is actually same function as the Pi 5. Okay. So next, Colin. So this is the passive cooler that I mentioned just now. So because of the height of the passive cooler, is colliding, with the fan at the cooling fan of the metal case. Okay. So let's say if you don't want to use this, it's okay. You just use the cooling fan on the metal case. If you want to use this, you need to remove the cooling fan of the metal case. And I do recommend using either one of it. It must have a cooling mechanism. Okay. So this is on the right is actually the diagram to mount it. So this what we call the passive cooler need to mount together with the board. You cannot mount the CM5 alone only, because the screw is very long. Okay. Next, Solin. Oh, I'm taking too much of time. So if you are familiar with CM4, CM4 also come with an option or accessory for the wireless external antenna. Okay, they are the same. So that antenna is compatible with CM5 also. So those that wanted to have the wireless features can use this antenna as the external antenna for better signal reception. Okay. Next, sorry, power supply. We recommend the PD power supply, the official PD power supply that you use on Pi 5 to power up the I/O board, or you can use the Cytron power supply. It also support PD 27 watt. Okay. If you don't want too much headache which part to choose, you can actually get the development kit from Raspberry Pi themselves. So here I have one development kit that come with UK power supply, so we have that. So for other country, you can look at our Cytron page. I believe Thailand, they will have the US plug. Vietnam, Cytron Vietnam will have EU plug. I believe that. So again, to highlight, the IO board is assembler in the case already. So let's say if you get this development kit, don't be surprised when you open up, you don't see the IO board, because the IO board is pre-assembled in the metal case. So you need to open up the metal case in order to install your compute modifier. Okay, and the compute modifier is come inside the development kit, and that model is actually wireless, CM5 wireless, with 8 GB, no, sorry, with 4 GB RAM and 32 GB eMMC. Okay, one variant only. It comes pre-packed from Raspberry Pi team, so we cannot change it. It also comes with a passive cooler. You need to install it. Again, you have the choice either to use the passive cooler or to use the active cooler, active fan, cooling fan on the metal case. So inside the picture, it doesn't show there is a USB-C to USB-A cable included in the kit for you to load the image. Okay, so you can go through our product page. We actually highlight that the USB-C is cable is included. You might also need a jumper, a small jumper, to disable the eMMC from booting for you to load the OS image. So that's all for me. Next section, I will pass to my colleague, this is Salam, to talk about the tips and tricks and also comparison in terms of the performance. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Soba. So I am Salam, one of the design engineer in Cytron. So I present about the performance and compatibility of the CM5 in the carrier board. Okay, so I start with the booting time. The performance between we compare the performance of the CM5 to its previous predecessor CM4. On the left side chart, you can see the CM5, and on the right side is for the CM4. So the blue bar, you see, we booting the CM5 on the eMMC. If we compare on both chart, it shows that on the CM5, it's only take 70 seconds, and on the CM4, it takes 32 seconds, almost half a minute. So from this chart, we can see that the CM5 almost 2 times faster than CM4 in terms of booting up. So no need to wait too much longer. Okay, next. So another comparison between the performance between the CM4 and the CM5. On this graph, on the left side, for the CM5, and then on the right side is for the CM4. So we made a test to measure the speed on the disk by testing the read and write speed. So on the left side, the CM5 for the eMMC, we got quite high value compared to the CM4, especially on the reading speed, because the processor on CM5 higher speed, which around 0.9 gigahertz more than. So it give some juice for the reading speed. And also for the CM5, it allow us to use the PCIe Gen 3 Express bus, so we can test. We can read the NVMe in Gen 3, so much more faster compared to the CM4, which we cannot access the PCIe Gen 3. Okay. Oh yes, the CM5 eMMC is faster in terms of reading speed. So especially when we load the OS, so the we will feel a bit snappy, quite fast OS, fast, especially like using the application inside our Raspberry Pi. So Yoshua Senpai, can this module handle AI, ML? Okay, so for the AI and ML, for the CM5, I have not tested it yet. But if we compare it with the Raspberry Pi 5, in terms of like camera for the image detection, it is very smooth compared to the Raspberry Pi 4. Yes, I think it should be in the future if the carrier board support the camera port. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, another question. So when will the CM5 development kit restock? So this one later, maybe in the end of the session, Mr. Obo can explain it. Okay, can tell about it. Okay. Okay. For the compatibility test on the CM5, we have tested it on its previous board, the CM4 board, CM4 IO board, and also on the Cytron CM4 maker board. So let me go next. So for the CM4 IO board, it is most of the feature on the this board able to use, except for the camera 0 and also display 0 port, because on this both port, the pin is changed to support USB 3.0. So it's other function can be used, other two ports can be used, but one of the camera port and also the display port cannot be used. And also the port only able to expand out the 2.0 to USB 2.0 from the CM5. Later I will demo to show which port. Okay. Okay, next. So for the our Cytron CM4 maker port, we have tested the CM5 running on the board. Most of the feature we can is compatible with the CM5, and also but it same as CM4 IO board from the Raspberry Pi. It missing USB 3.0, which is for this board, we missing the USB 3.0, but it compensate us with the USB 2.0. So have four USB 2.0. So extra 4 USB. And also for the CM4 maker board, we also have like IO pin and also the groove port. Good for the maker want to use this port. And or someone who already have this port but want to try the CM5, maybe they can try order the CM5 and drop in the CM5 on this port. Okay. Can use PSU for Raspberry Pi 4 on the power supply CM5 plus. Okay, for the PSU on the CM4, which is it coming with without the PD, the power delivery, it can be used, but maybe not recommended because the current might be a bit lower than the recommended one on the PSU on the Raspberry Pi 5. Okay. Want to demo. I think can proceed to demo. Yeah. This is the demo. On the right side is the Raspberry Pi CM4 I/O board. So the difference between the CM5 I/O board, as you can see, for the CM4 I/O board, we have like DC barrel jack. So you need to plug in the power from DC barrel jack to power up this board. But for the CM5 I/O board, we only need to plug in the USB Type C, which is it have PID, the power delivery. So from this power, yeah, quite simple. You can use this use for power and for communicate with your computer, and also the M.2 NVMe SSD on the left side. For this one, we have like PCIe Express port. Okay. This one is okay. Okay. For the Raspberry Pi I/O board, we have the two cam only and display. Like Mr. Obo said before, we can choose on one port either we want you to use the CM4 or display. To use it cam or display. Okay. That's for the CM5 I/O board. And also, we also want to show is for the CM5, we can also use it on CM4 microboard. So Cytron CM4 microboard, you have like for USB 2.0 and the groove, and also, but for the CM4 microboard only have one HDMI. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think it's okay. Dah. Okay, that's all for the demo. Yeah. Okay. Question.
Okay, thank you for Salam. And I think that's it. I hope you all enjoy it as much as I did. And before we end our webinar, so I want to open Q&A session to everyone. If you guys have any question regarding about this webinar, please question. So let's see the comment. Okay, so the GPIO. Okay, so the GPIO are the same as the M4. Example, you are.
Okay, let's ask Salam.
Okay, for
Camera.
okay for the GPIO, the same as CM4. Example, UI, SPI, I2C, PWM. Yes, for the GPIO, it is same with the previous the CM5 and the CM4. It is on the same pins. So if you want to use like for example CM4 microport or the previous one CM4 IO board from the Raspberry Pi, you can also use the CM5 GPIO also. It's located on the same pin. The only pin that changes it is on the camera and also display for the USB 3.0.
Okay.
We have another question here.
So okay, the main difference. So the biggest main difference between the CM4 and the CM5 is mostly on the computing power, which is for the CM4 we only have around 1.5 gigahertz, and on the CM5 we have 2.4 gigahertz. It is very noticeable changes, quite high for the a piece of single board computer. Yeah. Okay.
The display question maybe answer.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. Okay. We have another question. Oh no.
Do you have any other questions? Oh, we have another one.
Okay.
Does the compute module 5 support?
Oh, higher external performance. Yeah. Oh, okay. For the compute module 5 CM5, for the PCIe Gen 2, it support PCIe Gen 2, and also it support Gen 3, which is can we show our slide before? Slide, yeah, yeah, the performance. Yeah. Maybe calibrate a bit. Yeah, last
This one.
topic 5. Yeah. Okay. Think. Okay. This one for it support the PCIe Gen 3 also. So if you use the PCIe Gen 3, you can run the OS in full speed. So and also the read and write speed much better on the Gen 3. So as you can see on the left side chart, on the yellow bar, we have like a very high bar compared to the others bar. That is when we test the read and write speed on the NVMe SSD on the PCIe port express port. Quite fast.
Okay. We continue. Can I get the slide?
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
so actually we already put in the last here, so you can scan our QR code here, or you can just type the form here. Okay. So we have another question from I also.
Okay.
Enhanced
Okay.
module. Okay. I can take this question about enhanced module. I think the just now I explained the variation already. We have um, 32 variant, and future the additional variant, it might be the eMMC increased to 128 GB, but the CPU, the RAM, I think the RAM stay the top at 16 GB only. So that is for the CM5 module. Future might have 128 GB eMMC, okay? But the other spec, I believe they will stay the same, except they come out with CM6, then they will upgrade to CM6, okay? But for CM5, it will stay the same until the maximum they get is the eMMC up to 128 GB, okay? And then accessory, definitely they will have more accessory in the near future. I believe in 1 to 2 months time you'll see a lot of different kind of accessories supporting the CM5. So as I highlight by Salam just now, beside the speed of the CPU, which increased more than 50% from 1.5 gigahertz on CM4 to 2.4 gigahertz on CM5. So you also get the better RAM speed. You also get better eMMC speed. You can also enable the Gen 3 PCIe Gen 3 on the CM5 to get the better speed to whatever PCIe device that you connect to. So it can be, and maybe it can be, let's say the high-low AI accelerator, or any accelerator that compatible with PCIe bus. So that is the advantage. And another thing is, for CM4, the RAM stop at 8 GB. But for some application, you might need higher RAM, and CM5 offer up to 16 GB of RAM.
Yeah.
So that's another advantage. Yep.
Talking about the additional accessory, if for example, if you already have like cooling fan for the cooling heatsink for the CM4, such as wave share, you can also use on the CM5. Maybe I can demo it a bit. Yeah, I forgot. Can also show it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. This one actually from the Raspberry Pi itself, the heatsink for Raspberry Pi, the accessory. So it have like thermal pad on the bottom, so it can place on the Raspberry Pi to allow the heat dissipate more easily. And also if you already buy from Westshare, they also have a heat sink, so you can place it also on here. And this one is for the high profile, a bit taller. This one a low profile, much more shorter than this one, than the high profile, the low profile. And also I think and for the case, metal case, Okay. So for the metal case on the Raspberry Pi, you have like fan in here. So if you have purchased this board, the CM5 IO board, if you want to plug in, you want to put the heatsink, this one heatsink from for the CM5, you need to remove this cooling fan now, or else the casing cannot be closed tightly. Yeah, just a reminder for the user if you purchase the cooling fan. Okay, okay.
Yeah, Salam,
Yes.
I think you can also show that if you use short profile one, low profile heatsink, actually they can use the cooling fan. I still remember the low profile heatsink.
Again, Mr. Loba.
Salam, you can actually show if they use low profile heatsink, they can use together with the cooling fan inside the case.
Yes. Can also show.
Yeah, it's good to show lah. Yep.
Okay, back to this one. Yes, this is CM5. So if you want to use together with if you want to have like a fan, but at the same time you want to use the heat sink, you can use the low profile one from the wave share. Also, we also sold this in our website. So you could plug in here, and it should be able to close tightly. Can.
Yeah, good.
Okay,
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, we got another question. Mr. Loba, will there be long-term support and update for this module?
Oh, definitely. Don't worry, because Raspberry Pi have been famous for their support. If you are familiar with Raspberry Pi, I assume this is Yoshoi senpai. Ini Japanese. Tadi ni Japanese. Okay. Anyway, come back to the question. If you guys are familiar with Raspberry Pi, their support is very good, especially in terms of software and hardware. Why? The Raspberry Pi OS, even until today, the latest Raspberry Pi OS can still boot up on the first version of Raspberry Pi board. Raspberry Pi bookworm, but you need to choose 32-bit operating system. It can still boot up on the first version of Raspberry Pi board, which is Raspberry Pi 1. It's 32-bit single core. You can still boot up. So that is the kind of support the Raspberry Pi give. Okay. And then in terms of I think end of life, CM4 is actually until the earliest possible that they will end CM4. Compute Module 4 is not Compute Module 5, is 2031. That is the earliest. So they will not end it before that. For CM5, if I'm not mistaken, is either 2034 or 2036. So that is more than 10 years away. Okay. To be frank, I'm not too worried about the support and also the availability of the module. Okay. Anyway, it's a good question. Thanks.
Okay, I think this is the last question from Ai. What
Yeah,
industry are already using this module? For what purpose?
Oh, a lot. So I'm not sure about CM5, but CM5 is quite similar with CM4 in terms of the usage. Okay. Of course, CM5 have advantage in the performance, like just now we explained. But to use it, Smart Factory, we also design. So for example, the iRIF. So iRIF anyone want to try iRiff with CM5? It's not available, but we are coming out with it. We are waiting for the right model of CM5. So once we have that model of CM5 in stock, then we will produce the iRiff with CM5. Okay, so coming back to the question, where is being used? Industry use a lot of CM4, CM3. So one example that I personally see is EV charger. EV charger use it. We have customer been using our iRiff for solar farm, for smart manufacturing, for digital signage. So even for data logging of the medical equipment. So a lot more. Okay. Oh, what's the difference? So you're late. So we have been talking the whole seminar is about the CM4 and CM5. In short, it's about the performance. In short, so CM5 have way better performance compared to CM4. I/O you get faster PCIe for CM5 on CM5. Two extra USB 3.0 where you can connect to high-speed USB device, for example, camera, high-resolution camera, or depth cam, where you can measure the depth of your image or object. Then, so higher RAM, it offer up to 16 GB of RAM, highest RAM speed also. Then what else? Faster eMMC also. So with faster PCIe, you can actually get faster speed for the SSD or even to other PCIe compatible devices. Okay, so that is summary of CM5 versus CM4.
Okay, I think that's at the end of our webinar. So I hope you all enjoy it as much as I did. And I want to big thank you to Mr. Uberchu and Mr. Salam for all the amazing demos and insights they have shared about the Raspberry Pi CM5. And also a huge thank you for all of you for spending your time with us in this afternoon. Okay, if you're interested to learning more and if you like to access for today's slide and resource, just scan the QR I share here on the screen. And you have any question we didn't get to, so don't worry, you can always reach out to us directly and we'll be happy to help. Okay, also for a quick reminder, if you are interested to buy this product, don't wait too long because stock are moving fast. So secure yours soon, okay? So grab one for its like, okay. And I think all right, that's all from us today. So thank you again for joining, and we hope to see you in our future session. Until
Bye bye.
then, stay curious.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.